Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about block planes. A block plane is actually a plane that is a little bit smaller than your traditional smoothing plane. Your smoothing plane has a handle and a knob that you can hold on to, but you can see that these have none of it. In addition, the difference between this and this is that the blade is on this one here, the smoothing plane, the bevel is downward. So in other words, the blade, when you put it in, it's really upside down. Okay, like this. See? On the block plane, you're going to see that the blade actually holds it a little bit differently. It's upward. In other words, it's bevel up instead of bevel down. So when you take the blade out of these, and there's two kinds that I will show you. This one, first one, is just your regular simple block plane. Has very little movement. There is no knob except for this little black knob here, and there is no handle. So you really have to hold it. And for some, you might like this better than the traditional smoothing plane because it's easier to manage, and it also might match your hands. You're going to find that it's very simple to take apart, and it has very, very little moving parts in here. So you'll see that first of all, you remove the locking lever, and then you have the blade, and that's it. That's all there is. There is nothing more. Now you do have an adjustable here, which is side to side, and you have the screw, which actually has a little notch, which makes it go forward and backwards or up and down. Now to put this thing back in, you can see that the blade again is super sharp. And they are all sharpened to a really, really high standard, and this way it will cut very, very nicely. Okay, so when you put it back, you can see that you actually put it into the slot, okay, and you put it into the middle here, just like that, and it actually falls in. So if I turn the screw, it actually makes it go up and down, and then this adjusts the lateral movement left or right. Now, this screw actually makes the lever cap nice and tight. So I would move it to the left, put it in, and this lever cap actually moves up a little bit to tighten it up, and that holds it in for you. If it's a little loose, then what you would do is you would just turn the screw just ever so slightly, and then just lock it in. That's how you adjust this one. Now, you're going to find that this actually cuts really, really nice. It's really, really easy to work with, but again, don't slam it onto the tabletop because once you nick it, it's not going to be sharp anymore. And a block plane can be used for all four sides of a piece of wood. You have the two tops, you have the two edges, and you have the end grain. And let me just show you how that works. So if we're going to plane the edge, it really does a very nice job. And you can see it will cut just as well as here, but a little bit smaller in terms of holding it in your hand. Make sure you wear safety glasses, and above all, make sure that you do not bang the blade because you can actually nick it. Now, when you use this type of method, you're going to find that first of all, you are going to just make one cut. Okay, it does a really smooth job. Turn the screw a little bit. You don't know where it's set for, but you can see it really works really, really nice. You can hold your hand here. Some people actually hold it on top here, but you can actually use your hand plane. It does a really... super job on edge grain. Okay, now you can also do edge grain or face grain too. And to do the face, because it's small, we can actually put it into this vise here. If I wanted to do this, lock it in, and then you're going to plane it. You can also plane the face. So both ways. Remember, the face grain and the edge grain are really identical. They really work the same way because the wood's going in that direction. What really makes a big difference on these, since we know that this one is a 21 degree angle. In other words, this one here is about a 25 or sometimes a 45 degree angle. This is set at like 21 degree, which is a little bit lower. So why does that work well with us? Because of end grain. When you use end grain, first of all, because it's lower, it's easier to plane across the grain. Okay, while this one here is a little more difficult because it's at a higher angle. So if it's at a higher angle, it won't cut as well. Okay, it's a little harder to cut, but you can still do it. So you can still use this. But a block plane actually will do a better job because it's lower. Okay, and again, on end grain, you want to go halfway, not all the way through. Media, media. So playing halfway, and this way you do not worry about blowouts or chips. Okay, so you have that one, and you just clean it right out after that. That's how you use this one. Now, what's the difference between this one and this one? Well, this one is a little different because, first of all, it's a little smaller. You can see the difference. The body's a little smaller, and the width is a little smaller. But this one has a little more feature, even though it costs a little bit more, and that is this. It has this extra feature, which is the bottom here. It has a little slight door, and it's used to adjust. So you adjust it by turning this little screw here. So the door opens and closes. So just to show you, you can see that when I turn the screw, this little lever cap here, the door will open and close, just like this. Try to get it focused for you. Okay, now why do we need that door to open and close? Well, this one here has no adjustment whatsoever. It's just a flat sole all the way across that's cast in there. While this one here, you can adjust it, and this will make a finer cut, and you lock it in by turning the screw. So to make a finer cut, you would use this one to do the same thing, but this one is held differently than this one also. This is 21 degrees. This one's 13.5 degrees, which is less. So it's not as high as here, it's a little lower. So now when we plane, it should be much, much easier, and actually will cut it even smoother. And so you can see that operation right here. So you can see how this cuts really, really smooth, just like that. And again, go halfway, and then you have that set up. Now, you can turn this door to make it a little wider so that you can get more shavings to come out, but the closer the gap is, or smaller the gap is, the finer it will cut. So just remember that, because then it won't chip out as much. Nice and easy. Low angle plane. Now, just to show you a technique that you can do with a hand plane, if it is really, really sharp, you can actually make a nice bevel. So I'm going to plane right here, but then you're going to say to me, Mr. Chung, why did you go all the way through? Because this thing is really super sharp. So I'm planing at a 45-degree angle, making a little bevel. You can see it, didn't chip at all, but I want to come back to it and then do the other side. And plane it at an angle. Okay, and as you can see, when you're finished, you have a really, really nice bevel. And that is how you use a block plane.